What's up, everyone? It is Mitchell J again, and we're going to take a look at crypto like we normally do. And I also want to talk a little bit about diversification, and I'll probably actually talk about that in the webinar tonight. So before we get into that, though, let's quickly review Bitcoin. And so, essentially, working off my video from yesterday, you'll see. What I already talked about, how, we've been essentially this long-term uptrend lines, we broke, got back above it, established, and, it looked like we were kind of grinding higher, make a run at 10K, failed. And then essentially we've broken down, tested it, broken down, and now, kind of looking like we're going to turn down again here. So, as I said in the past, this 79, 7,800 is our nearest downside target, our nearest support, if you will. Essentially, as our last line of defense before possibly seeing us go down to the mid sixes again, because there's really no price action, no clear supports until that level again. So, I mean, honestly, it doesn't really look super bullish at all. We're turning back down again here after this tiny little bounce, and we'll most likely test this 79, 78 level and hopefully hold it. Obviously, anything can happen at any time, but as of the way things are looking right now, we've once again, broke this uptrend, tested it, failed, which kind of sucks because it's making this thing less valid, if valid at all. In fact, as price continues, I may redraw this and see what we got going on. We might have a less steep trend, still working off these bottoms across this tail and then these bottoms, which would probably take us to mid sevens. I'm not going to do that now. I'm just going to leave this old line that, as I'm at this point going to say, has gone obsolete, but it worked for a while. Play it like, play it till it breaks is what I always say. And you'll see clearly, like, these gold circles were an example of that. This was an entry. It was a bounce off that trend line and also a bullish U-turn, which, is the main pattern I use to enter crypto positions. That is the second video in the Scaredy Cat Guide crypto course. And same thing here, nice bullish U-turn pattern, bounced right off the trend line and made for a nice trade as well. Nice, or just even, nice buy in terms of, long-term holdings. So, this trend definitely was useful, but, it has kind of run its course, it's looking like. So we'll reevaluate over the coming days and, look for other trend lines and other supports. Obviously, we know, like I said, our downside price point, so that's kind of what I got on my arm right now. But I want to talk about diversification. And granted, when you're just buying other crypto coins, it's hard to be diversified, but you can still at least spread out your risks, spread out your possible, upside potential by putting your money across a handful of coins instead of just being in Bitcoin and living and dying by Bitcoin. Now, obviously, they're correlated, and even if you diversify into, let's say, 5 coins, you're probably still going to have like an 80% correlation, but at least you've diversified somewhat and at least have mitigated your risk to at least the effect of around 20%. So, let's look at some of the other coins. So as you can see, you look at Bitcoin. I mean, it's slightly higher over the last month, and basically it's just broke a long-term trend line, and it's not looking super bullish at all. So, and then we look at Ethereum, and over the last month or so, it's up pretty good, and it is holding it strong here at a key support level. So, looking much more positive. So again, just a very basic example of diversification. Just being in, Bitcoin and Ethereum, you have a little bit different exposure and price action right now, and you would have done better on Ethereum. And Ethereum's looking more positive. Doesn't mean it can't or won't break down, but it's looking more positive than Bitcoin. So, therefore, if it can continue to maintain like this, if Bitcoin does pull back, then you offset some of that loss on Bitcoin or some of that drawdown in Bitcoin with Ethereum holding it strong. So just a very simple example of why you want to diversify. I mean, we could look at other coins, but it's kind of nor here nor there. You look at Litecoin. I mean, kind of going sideways and basically break even to a little bit down over the last month or two. So again, there you go. If you have Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, so Litecoin was down a little bit and Bitcoin was up a little bit and Ethereum was up, the most out of the three. So when you mix all three together, okay, you've offset the Litecoin losses with Bitcoin and then you've made some money in Ethereum. So if someone was just holding Litecoin only over the last month or two, they're down a little bit. So very, very basic example of why, at least I like to diversify, why I think you should diversify, regardless of what you're investing in. So just keep that in mind. And um, again, we know our price points for Bitcoin. I'm keeping my eye on those downside targets. Obviously, on the upside, we need to get back above 8,800 before we can really even talk about any kind of positive price action. So we'll see how things play out. And I will drop a link in the video notes as always for all the free crypto stuff, the video lessons, the ebook for anyone who's just getting started and really trying to understand what wallets are, addresses, and all that good stuff, and how to buy and sell crypto. And I'll see you on the next video. All right.